Right, this is it. We're in the final stretch now. 3 books, technically 2 books now because I finished this one, 2 books left. It's taken me what, like almost 2 years to get here? My bad. And as is tradition now, let's do the Wheel of Time intro. The Wheel of Time turns and ages come and pass, leaving memories that become legend. Legend fades to myth, and even myth is long forgotten when the age that gave birth comes again. And one age called the Third Age by some, an age long past, an age yet to come. The wind rose in the mountains of mist. Does that count? Does that count as first time round? Because if so, I'm proud of myself. So, The Gathering Storm is book 11 in the Wheel of Time book series, and is co-written by Robert Jordan and Brandon Sanderson. Now, I do want to address the fact of Brandon Sanderson now taking over the Wheel of Time book series, purely because I was curious. I was like, am I going to notice a change in the writing style? And for the most part, I didn't. Brandon Sanderson just like slipped in so effortlessly, and I was like, oh, yeah, this feels like Robert Jordan's writing. The prose are lovely, there's a lot of waffling in the narrative and such. Like, yeah, it felt like a Robert Jordan Wheel of Time book. And this is also technically my first Brandon Sanderson book, which is kind of crazy because, like, I love Brandon. I watch his YouTube channel, I love his writing lectures, they're really great stuff. He's a fantastic writer, and overall seems like a really chill and cool guy. And so it's kind of nice to finally, like, sit down and read something he's written, and it was really good. And I also found the intro by Brandon Sanderson really interesting because it was basically him going, yeah, Robert Jordan basically wanted this all to be one book. It was going to be an extremely massive book, but because it was so big, it was unpublishable and I had to turn it into 3 books. And in many ways, you can sort of tell that this is just Act 1 out of 3 acts, because there is something in this book that really irritated me, and that was Matt kind of in the back of his brain going, oh yeah, Moraine's alive, we have the letter, but we're not gonna go do that right now, we're just gonna wait, we're just gonna like put that off in for the next book, and we're just gonna like, you know, chill about and do some stuff with Tuon and the Shanshan. It's like, go get Moraine, what are you doing? Why are we wasting time? That I think was my biggest pet peeve of the entire book, was just the fact that Matt was like, oh yeah, I have this side quest to go get Moraine and save her, but I'm not gonna bother doing that now, nah. I hated that. That was so annoying. And in the book, there are some really good, interesting ideas. Again, it's like any other Wheel of Time book, where like there'll be interesting things happening and I will gravitate and pay attention to it. But for the most part too, as an overall narrative, there are some things that just like slip past me, especially as a first time reader, because these books are long. Each of the audiobooks too are like 30, 40 hours, and I'm like, oh my god, this is so much time to dedicate to a story. Not that it's bad, but I do yearn for the days back when, you know, it was just The Eye of the World, The Great Hunt, The Dragon Reborn, where the books were long, but like, the narratives were all fairly self-contained, and it was like, yeah, the Dark One's coming and all that kind of stuff, but like, how many books has been since then? Like 8 books? 8 books later, and like, we're just now getting to the big final battle. Like, the stuff with the Aes Sedai and Elida, like, being the new Amelin seat and stuff, and everything that happens in this book where they get rid of Elida and such, and, you know, Egwene tricks her and deposes her, and Egwene is now free from the White Tower, but she's still not Amelin seat and stuff. The big reveal that Varian was Black Azure and stuff, like, yeah, it's fine, but like, I'm not invested in that storyline. And with the Rand stuff too, I liked it. The stuff with, you know, Semirhage and Min, and the fact that Semirhage, well, I think it was Semirhage. Yeah, it was Semirhage. Like, Semirhage controlled Rand and got Rand to start, like, strangling Min, and he almost killed Min and stuff. Like, all that stuff was really good. And then we get to something near the end of the book, which I don't know how I feel about, which is the reunion between Rand and Tam. Because, on the one hand, I get it, it's probably what should have happened, but on the other hand too, I wanted more from it. Like, Tam and Rand finally meet and they talk, and Rand's just like, I know you're not my father. And then it's kind of like an awkward conversation, and it's like, I get that it's meant to be awkward, but I want the big tear-filled, I've missed you so much, Tam, oh, I love you, type of thing. I did want that, but I know at the same time too, that's not what needed to happen, because Rand is now essentially king of the world, and Tam treats him as such, and like, there is that awkwardness between the two, but like, I would have liked for Rand to have like dropped that guard a bit and been like, no, Tam, I love you, Da. But my son! But I also get why that didn't happen, and the fact that it was also a trick from Cadzawain, and that angered Rand, and then Rand kind of like lost control a bit, and then Balefire was released and he almost killed Tam and such. I liked that, but at the same time too, I was like, no, I want more. Like, I won't lie, in my imagination, I was imagining like a reunion scene similar to Zuko and Uncle Iroh, but with Rand and Tam, and then they would have like talked for hours and hours, and they would have like shared their stories and such, but that didn't happen, and I know that's not like supposed to happen. I get it. Like, it would have been kind of jarring. I just wish it was longer. I don't know. And then a scene that I thought was interesting was that after Rand leaves Tam, he's fully angered. He's like, right, I'm gonna go wipe out Abu Dar. And then he goes and goes, actually no, it's pretty nice place. And then he walks up to the top of Dragon Mountain. He's at the very top, and he's kind of like going all like Dragon Reborn. Oh, I'm just gonna kill myself. I can't believe it. I can't believe what's happening to me. I'm going mad. I'm going insane. But then Lews Therin in the back of his brain is just like, no, don't do that. We're on Dragon Mountain. We can't let the pattern repeat. We have to change it. Let's like do like a mini truce in a way, because the whole book 2, Rand's just like, yep, when the time comes, I'm gonna die. Me and Lews Therin will die forever. But it was interesting to see Lews Therin sort of like shift mindset and was just like, no. The whole point of the pattern is that things repeat, but we're not going to let things repeat. We've come here to the top of the mountain to kind of, in a way, retrace our footsteps, but this is not where our story ends. And in many ways, Lews Therin sort of relinquishes control, and Rand is now reforged, reborn, reanew, and he is now Rand al'Thor. Like, he lets out this, like, kind of maniacal laugh, but not like in a mad sense, but in a sense of like, it's pure relief. He is now Rand al'Thorian. And I found it interesting how that was actually a prophecy of the dragon, the fact that Rand would go to the place where he died previously and then become reforged, become anew. Also, I'm not entirely sure if I trust the fact that Rand is reborn, reforged, reanew. He's not insane. I feel like there's something where it's like, there's something there. There's got to be some kind of twist behind it. Like, on my first read around of Wheel of Time, I think that's what I've connected to the most, is Rand al'Thor's story. Him becoming mad, but then also him sort of like fighting his madness. And the overall story is interesting. It's just getting to it, getting through all the subplots that I don't find interesting and such on the first time read. Yeah, it is a lot. But at the same time too, I am interested to see this story end now. I want to know how it ends. I want to see how everything fits together. Like, all the politicking between Rand and the Seanchan went over my head, but I thought the scene itself was interesting because Tuon was there and Rand was there. I think Mat was also there, but it was the fact of like, Rand doesn't know Mat and Tuon are married, and like they play it very coy in the entire scene. And then you see Tuon just go like, there's something weird about Rand that I don't trust, so I can't make peace. That in itself was interesting. It's just that, I don't know. I think on my first read, I'm just not as invested. I'm still trying to see how things are unfolding. There is a lot of information just being thrown at you, and it's like, yeah, this is a lot. But at the same time too, I want to see where the story goes, especially with the next book, because next book is where Moraine comes back, I think. I'm hoping, I swear to God, if it's literally just like Mat going like, I don't know, I've got to go help Moraine, but nah, we'll say that for the next book. I'd hate that. I think that'd be so stupid.
There's no time for any of this.
Like, that was my biggest pet peeve with this entire book, was the whole thing of Mat going like, yeah, I could get and save Moraine, but I'm not going to. We're going to say that for next time. And it's like, but why?
There's no time for any of this.
I think the big problem I have with it is the fact that Brandon Sanderson / Mat keep addressing it. Like, Matt's just like walking along thinking to himself, like, oh yeah, I can do this like at some other point. And it just makes you go, but why? Do it now. Brandon, stop like addressing it.
There's no time for that.
I feel like if Brandon himself had not addressed it in the writing, I think it would have been, you know, less bad. But like, yeah, at the same time, whilst I complain about the book series being very long and elongated and how you don't need like 14 books to tell this story, at the same time too, I am interested to get to the end. I want to read that last book. I want to be satisfied. I want to have my heart broken. I want to cry. I've been with these characters for a very long time, and it would be nice to get a really epic and satisfying ending. And from what I've heard, the final book is literally just all battle, and I'm so excited for that. I want to see Rand versus Balsamon. I want to see how that confrontation plays out. I want to hear some cool, you know, sword form writing, because one of the things I loved about Robert Jordan's writing, and I hope Brandon Sanderson gets to do it as well, is when they write the duels and they describe the sword forms, and it's like, Rand then, you know, cut the cloud with the slash of his blade and then moved into wallow over water or whatever the hell. I love all that stuff. But yeah, those are my thoughts on The Gathering Storm so far. It's interesting to see Brandon Sanderson take over this series so effortlessly. He didn't really dilute the series at all. Like, it just felt like it was Robert Jordan still writing these books. So commendable efforts for Brandon as a writer. I just think it's so cool that, like, this is my first Brandon Sanderson book, and it just felt so effortless for him slipping into Robert Jordan's writing style and emulating it so well. I've got my complaints with it here and there, but overall I did enjoy this book, and I'm looking forward now to the last 2 books in the series. But those are just my thoughts on The Wheel of Time, book 11, The Gathering Storm. What did you guys think about it? Let me know in the comments down below. Like, comment, subscribe from the social media, all the good stuff. Until we meet again, see you guys next time.